right, it's 6 p.m. We'll call to order the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Two Harbors. Roll call, please.
Woodruff. Glacier.
Here.
Renwald.
Here.
Swanson.
Here.
Passy.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Redden.
Here. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda?
Yes, we have 3 additions to the agenda. I'd like to add item number 17 to consent agenda, accepting the quote from Alltech for a bucket truck for $173,088. Number 18 to the consent agenda, approving the application of Madeira LLC at 632 First Avenue for on-sale wine and 3.2% liquor license and permission to sell strong beer as a holder of an on-sale wine and 3.2% liquor license pending the approval of the Chief of Police, Lake County Health Department in the state of Minnesota. And then adding number 19 to the consent agenda, approving the minutes from the April 25th, 2022 regular City Council meeting. Then I would also like to change new business item number 1 from a resolution to a motion, and that is all.
Thank you. Looking for a motion for approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Glacier.
Yes.
Renwald.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Passy.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Yes.
Redden.
All right, under appearances, I have Paul Iverson on short-term rentals and neighborhood revitalization grant. And I think just to, is this a full-on presentation or are you
Just
just?
do it in 90 seconds.
Oh, okay, great. Go ahead, Paul. Welcome.
Paul, is this on?
Turn on your microphone, please.
Push the button, Paul.
Where it says push, right?
Yep.
Paul Iverson, 809 3rd Avenue. I just wanted to quickly address the council. First, urging you to pass the second reading of the proposed short-term rental ordinance. I believe it to be a decent compromise. I wasn't at the last meeting, but I know the staff and the planning and zoning committee have been working very hard on this issue. One thing I am concerned about, although I really don't have any proof on it, is that a lack of an ordinance like this could score against Two Harbors when competing with other communities in housing and development grants. And you know, those things are so competitive. Secondly, I would really urge the council and the administration to try to come up with a way to administer and match the $500 mini grant program that the Lake County HRA works with the city in Silver Bay and Two Harbors. Silver Bay will be doing the program again this year, so it would be great if Two Harbors could too. Two Harbors has always had a problem with this in the administration of it. We've always had to have extra meetings with them. And Silver Bay, and I know it's Silver Bay and Two Harbors, it's apples and oranges. Lana Frey, like the administrator in Silver Bay, does an excellent job on it. So maybe by getting in touch with her, there could be more coordination. I know the program's small, I get that, but I think it really helps the cities look a lot more attractive. And just a reminder that the city puts in $10,000 and it's matched by the Lake County HRA. So if there's a way to make it happen this year in Two Harbors, that'd be great.
Thank you, Paul. All right, we're on to administrative reports. Joel Diamond, interim administrator.
I've got a written report in your got a written report in your packet. If you have any questions, I can certainly ask them, but I have nothing further than that.
And Tim Costley, the status of the recall lawsuit.
Thank you. As you know, council members, the city has retained special counsel
I'm just going to give you a little status of where we're at. The matter was set for temporary restraining order hearing on Thursday morning before Judge Harris, who was assigned to the case. Judge Harris is a judge in Duluth. The evening before the hearing, the recall petition was asked to be withdrawn. So at the hearing on Thursday, Judge Harris determined that there was nothing before him to rule on, so he didn't make a ruling. We don't have a written order back from Judge Harris yet, or a dismissal from Judge Harris, so the file is still open in district court until that happens. And that's where it sits. There's no action before Judge Harris at this time. So, as far as litigation goes, we're doing nothing.
Thank you. Any questions for Attorney Nelson? Oh, I was looking up on the screen for you, Kathy.
Surprise.
All right. We'll move on to committee reports. Planning Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Planning Commission had a long discussion last Tuesday night, and we walked through all of the issues that were brought forward from the public hearing on the 25th. We were able to come to consensus, and I think we're ready to move forward with what you have been presented from the Planning Commission with regards to the short-term rentals. So, and I don't know, maybe Jen wants to add a few words, but there were some tense moments, and then there were some not so tense moments, but we made it through, and I appreciate everybody's due diligence in sitting through and carrying on this important work for the city.
Jen, did you have anything to add to that?
No.
Okay. Go ahead.
Do you want questions related to that when we get to the new business, or, okay, thanks.
Personnel Committee.
Oh, the Personnel Committee met. We spent a lot of time reviewing the process for the administrator search. At this point, we are going to continue to move forward. I think that the pending developments with regards to the resign and recall petition may have us looking at extending those dates out. I don't know yet, but we will be discussing getting the packet together, moving forward with the search at our next meeting on the 18th. Am I right, Joe? Yeah. So, yeah, we're moving forward with that process. Other than that, I don't recall that there's anything else I needed to bring forward this evening.
All right. Public Arts Committee.
Mr. Chair, Public Art did not meet. We didn't have a quorum.
Library Board.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to have the library director give the report. Mr. Chair, I'm going to have the library board, Madeline Jarvis, give the report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Thompson. The library's archive room has been closed to the public for most of last week to accommodate some sewer repairs. Many thanks to our colleagues at Gas, Water, Sewer, as well as Public Works for their assistance getting ready for both the repair and for reopening the room tomorrow. We are super jazzed for that. We're keeping pretty busy with some indoor and in-person programming for the first time since March 2020 and are so excited for that. Stop by on Fridays for youth programs, and for the month of May, which is older, we're doing a suite of adult programs exploring how older Americans can age their way. Thank you.
Trees and Trails Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Trees and Trails Committee met on the 28th of April. It was a really good meeting. We had representatives from the DNR, from motorized groups, snowmobile and ATV groups, as well as bicycle group representative. And there was a lot of good discussion between the groups on how to work together. And we also looked at the Highway 61 Reconstruction corridor, and there were two recommendations that we offered to carry forward, and that would be a recommendation of a 410 by 14 foot box culvert at the west end of the city to get snowmobile grooming equipment across, and a 12 by 12 culvert at the east end by Lake Drive, or Lake Avenue to get the, Park Avenue, pardon me, to get pedestrian traffic by the golf course. Dan Cruikshank presented a concept for a mountain bike trail loop that would essentially run around the railroad track in Cedar Coffee area. And we have Jennifer had talked to the railroad company, and they are willing to work with us on that. And then we also had discussion on emerald ash borer in town, and that there is emerald ash borer, and there is a map online that shows about 6 or 7 locations where the trees are located in town, a couple of them being right at the campground, and some out right on Scene 61 as it comes into town, as well as just towards wastewater treatment plant from here. So it is pretty much spread throughout the city. Action that we will have to consider for emerald ash borer is really identifying it, and then it's recommended to remove trees in the dormancy period for emerald ash borer, which is after September of the year, rather than spreading it through the town by moving infested trees. We are in a quarantine, and we can move quarantine wood around within the quarantine, but we cannot move it outside the quarantine area.
Derek, I have a question for you on that then.
Yep.
So would that have to be burnt and destroyed in that area, or does that release spores of any kind, or what? How does that work?
It can be used within the quarantine area. It can be used as firewood in the quarantine area. And actually, I talked to the Public Works Director. Jim Gilbert was planning on using some of it for out at the cemetery when they use firewood to heat up the ground during winter for burials.
Okay, thank you. Did I miss any other committee reports? No?
I guess one other thing I would like to recognize, one of the members of the Trees and Trails Commission, Terry Hucredi, has gone above and beyond what a member of a commission should do. He, aside from taking all of the trash from Earth Day cleanup and carrying it to the dumpsters, and help me out, Jen.
Yeah, so Terry does a lot for the commission. So recently, we had, after our last meeting, Terry went and distributed a bunch of materials for the commission about the emerald ash borer. He went out to the campground and he educated them on everything. He went and picked up 3 buckets full of pet waste that was around the city. He talked to the city about the trees in Lakeview Park. Terry just is an awesome member of our commission, and so Mayor Swanson was at our meeting too, and so he asked us what we thought about the commission members, the makeup, and we had said that it would be a shame if we had to lose somebody like Terry on that commission. So our Trees and Trails Commission is great. There's a reason it's full, and our meetings are fun, and we get a lot of things done.
Thank you. Any other committees? No? All right, up next, I'll look for a resolution approving the consent agenda items.
So move.
Second.
Could you read those in, please, Miranda?
Allowing, do I read that? Woodruff?
Oh, no, you just read them all through and then we'll do a vote.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so number 1, allowing claims against the City of Two Harbors to be paid on May 10, 2022. approving payroll for the second half of April 2022. Number 3, a city administrator report from Joel Dine, interim city administrator. Number 4, a memorandum from Joel Rain, PE, and Brian Golden, PE, Bolton Mank, providing engineering project updates. Number 5, accepting with regret an email from Steve Detlefson, providing his resignation from the Planning and Zoning Commission and authorizing a letter of appreciation for his service. Number 6, certifying assessments to the Lake County Auditor against certain properties within the city of Two Harbors for unpaid utility charges. Number 7, authorizing payment to Bolton Mank in the amount of $53,795.35 for professional services for the wastewater treatment plant project and services related to the adjacent property development regarding the land acquisition, usage, and impacts on construction. Number 8, authorizing payment to Lakehead Constructors for $708,245.04 for the construction of the wastewater treatment plant project. Number 9, accepting the quote from North Country GM for the purchase of a 2023 GMC 2500 HG for the amount of $43,857 for the electrical department. Accepting the quote from North Country GM for the purchase of a 2023 GMC 2500 HD for the amount of $44,618 for the gas department. Number 11, accepting the recommendation from the fire department to create a hiring pool for future volunteer firefighter positions and provide conditional offers for 5 individuals for the potential hire for existing and upcoming vacancies, contingent on background checks and medical evaluations. Number 12, authorizing Bolton Mank to conduct topographic survey for the Odegaard Trail for $6,500 for the underpass to the parking lot from 9th Street and adding an additional $900 to include 9th Street to 8th Street. Number 13, accepting the quote from A.G. O'Brien for house trap removal, floor repair, and restroom updates for $8,894 at the Two Harbors Library. Number 14, accepting the quote from Basement Pros for building repairs at the Two Harbors Library for $24,226. Number 15, authorizing the library director to submit a grant application to the Emergency Connectivity Fund. Number 16, reviewing the 2023 to 2024 Street Improvement Project Draft Design Agreement with Lake County and authorize administration and Bolton to send draft joint powers agreement to Lake County for review. Number 17, accepting the quote from Altech for a bucket truck for $173,088. Number 18, approving the application of Madeira LLC at 632 First Avenue for on-sale wine and 3.2 liquor license and permission to sell strong beer as a holder of an on-sale wine and 3.2 liquor license pending the approval of the Chief of Police, Lake County Health Department in the state of Minnesota. Number 19, approving the minutes from the April 25th, 2022 regular city council meeting.
Thank you for reading those in. Is there any discussion? If not, roll call please.
Glacier?
Yes.
Grunwald?
Yes.
Swanson?
Yes.
Cassie?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Redden?
Yes. Moving on to unfinished business, there is none. We will go to new business. Item number 1 is a motion for the second reading of the ordinance of the City of Two Harbors, Minnesota, amending section 4.42 of the Two Harbors City Code concerning short-term rentals.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this item?
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Councilor Erickson.
No, I'll let
Oh,
Peter.
go ahead.
I have a technical question. So
Okay.
let me have-
Go ahead.
I think it was already reported on, but it was definitely, I think, a really good discussion, and I think at the end, everybody realized that we kind of worked through all the differences, and I think that was powerful as our constituent Iverson spoke to. The big thing I think that made everybody comfortable is we recognize that, you know, we're kind of new into this and that we're willing to review this on an annual basis or take a look at it in the future if there's adjustments that need to be made. That was something that I think brought everybody together in agreement. And I think I heard that from our community development planner multiple times. So tonight I will be supporting this moving forward. Thank you.
Councilor Harrison?
I just had a question on the hearing process. So in the ordinance, it says that the council will have 30 days to provide information. But would we be taking action at a public council meeting that would determine that at that time? I'm just trying to, it kind of gives this 30-day piece. Is that just the notification, but the council, that person will know that night by the basis of our voting, because we would have to do that in a public meeting, correct?
Yeah, so tonight would be the second reading, and you can't make any changes after tonight. And then the next council meeting, it's the 23rd of May, I think, that would be the third reading. And then there's a 30-day wait before it becomes effective, actually.
Oh, sorry, wrong question. My question is, if somebody in the hearing language in the ordinance, if someone is denied an ordinance, denied, and they ask for a hearing, it says that the council will have up to 30 days to respond. I guess my question is, that would happen at a public meeting and that person would kind of know immediately whether or not, so it just seems like it's giving the council like time to be separate or have it. I'm wondering if there's, and again, I get the intent of it and I'm not suggesting a change, but it makes it appear as if there's 30 days to deliberate, but I think that has to happen at a public meeting. Is that correct? Maybe that's an attorney question.
That's correct.
So
You will deliberate and make a decision at a public hearing. 30 days is in there for two reasons. One is to make sure you get it done in 30 days. It just puts a timeline on it. You can issue a ruling at the hearing. But sometimes when you draft findings in these public hearings, you want to put a little more effort into drafting the findings. They get a little more detailed. And you don't want to be stuck having to draft those findings at that hearing. So that's why we put some time.
okay, and are you suggesting then that if we have a hearing and the council is not set to make a motion at that meeting, there could be a subsequent meeting scheduled because we want time to learn and deliberate from, say, our person, Jennifer, to give us guidance on that? Are you suggesting that could happen? Okay, that's why the 30 days is in there, but they're deserving of a response within 30 days of the initial hearing, whether or not there's a subsequent public meeting to have the council vote on it. Okay, just wanted, it was kind of confusing to me in the language, but that is very helpful, thank you. And if I could just say, I very much appreciate all the work that's been done. I appreciate the members of the Planning and Zoning Commission who took that on again after having it referred, and just want to thank Jennifer Sturbins for the clarification and providing us a document that we could review prior to the meeting. So very appreciative of all your work.
Thank you, Councilor.
Any other discussion on this matter? Roll call, please.
Glacier,
Yes.
Remwald,
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Passy,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Redden,
Yes. New business item number 2, a resolution to amend the contract with the interim city administrator to allow for housing at the city-owned building located at 622 7th Avenue. So moved.
Second?
Any discussion on this matter or item? No? Roll call, please.
Glacier,
Yes.
Remwald, yes, Swanson,
Yes.
Passy,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Redden,
Yes. All right, new business item number 3, a resolution to consider authorizing Lakehead constructors to build an access road across city-owned property between the wastewater treatment plant and the water treatment plant across the city-owned Ingram property. So moved.
second,
Discussion on this item? Roll call, please.
Glacier,
Yes.
Remwald, yes, Swanson,
Yes.
Passy,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Redden,
Yes. I see nothing under other. Is there anything other that we need to discuss this evening? If not, I'll go to announcements. Any announcements this evening?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think it was 2 weeks ago at the city council meeting, Katja Gordon presented to us about her professional, I believe it's mediation skills. If I get that wrong, I apologize. It's something that I've thought about, and I think it'd be a great opportunity to have her visit with our interim city administrator about that, and what that would look like. I think there might be some merit to that. And so I would suggest we do that and have her at least continue that forward. I think that was a powerful suggestion, and one I think is it's neat to see that there's peacemakers and mediators in our community. Secondly, neighborhood grant process. Our constituent Paul Averson spoke about that, the $500 grant. The city HRA has indicated they're no longer going to be providing that service. I think it was eloquently stated that that has been a really good program for the city. I have heard nothing but positive from constituents on that. I would like to find a way to keep that going. I know that our staff has a lot going on, but I think it's incumbent upon us to take a look at that. Maybe at the next council meeting, add that to the agenda or to a committee to have them look at that. But I think that's something that I think our community would be sad if they saw that go away. And then, Joel, I apologize, I can't find your report. I might just not have it in my packet, so afterwards, if I can grab one from you, that'd be awesome. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say is, I had talked to Tom Furman, and I kind of asked him what the issue was with the grant, the revitalization thing, and he had said that the biggest concern is that they have the city money, but when it comes to the county's portion, they have to keep they have to pay out of their HRA fund first and then wait to be reimbursed from the county. And this isn't just a one-time thing, this is kind of a ongoing process, so it's real putsy. So Tom had indicated that if the county would be willing to kind of give that money up front, kind of like the city has it at their disposal, and they didn't have to keep doing all of those requests and use their own money because they don't have that money to float. And if they could get a stipend for him to have one of the employees do a couple hours every month, a couple extra hours every month to administer it, that he would be willing to do it. So maybe that's something, I think that's a discussion that needs to happen with the county first, probably.
Go ahead.
So, as I understand this portion of the agenda as announcements, that these would be public notices, and while I appreciate the comments by the mayor, this doesn't feel like an appropriate place to be making recommendations. So maybe those happen when those agenda items come up, because we did have conversation about that. This just feels a little awkward that that's not the intention of this portion of the meeting. So I guess I would appreciate that this be for those things like public events or other things, that those didn't exactly feel like announcements to me.
Any other announcements? If not, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Glacier,
Yes.
Rumble,
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Passy,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Redden.
Yes, we are adjourned.